So I was going back through all of my writings from over time. I have this in my Google Drive. I have an occult folder, and I literally have like hundreds of different things I've written down. It's mostly all around spirituality and stuff like that. But earlier on, I had like journal entries and all sorts of stuff. So I was pretty much systematically going back and looking at every one because really I'd forgotten about a lot of these. I came across something very interesting that I completely forgot about. It's entitled "That Boy Went Wild," and it's basically a poem I wrote that is like just very depressed and almost like suicidal. And I'm like reading this, and I completely forgot about it. I'm reading this, I'm like, oh my god, like I wrote this? That's crazy. Because like today, in modern day Caleb, like I'm very happy to be alive. I just see life as this wonderful gift here for me to experience and explore, and there's not really any requirements. But this was from 2 years ago in my senior year of high school. I'm a sophomore in college now. This was from 2 years ago when I really wasn't doing too good. I guess it came around by I had just I don't know why this was a good idea, but I drank some water from a river, and I just got super duper sick. Like it was horrible, like for like half a week. And at the same time, in one of my classes we had to like crochet this big thing, and I had gotten behind on this because I was sick, and so I was spending this whole day just endlessly looping the crochet needle again and again. And during that, I kind of had like an existential breakdown where like doing this made me think about how meaningless everything was, and kind of just got me to this full, like all this negative emotion just like coming up. And it wasn't like at anything in particular, like there wasn't like a specific bad event that I was upset about or anything. It was just this kind of sickness, and the crocheting triggered this like just big upsurge of negative emotion, which I guess I had kind of been pushing down and had to get released. So I'm gonna read my poem. I gotta find it because it's really quite something. Like it's definitely gonna be vulnerable to share this, because it's kind of a little bit suicidal. Not like actually like gonna kill myself, but thinking like I kind of want to die, bro. So this is what I wrote during this kind of meltdown of pain. All programs are being destroyed. All pains are being furnished in the furnace of the mind. There is no escape. There is no escape. Here are my thoughts. Death is better than life, for the earth breeds endless strife. Humans are stupid and silly, deaf ears, deaf eyes. No one is there to help you, for the humans are blind. Our programming goes against suicide, but being in this body is pain enough. Where have my programs gone? You know those which kept me in control? You know those which protected me from the dark below? Where have they gone? I'm shutting down, returning to auxiliary functions, just like the hospital. First the pain, now the insanity. My brain refuses to see its salvation. I accept this, for I must move through it. All is pain, all is pain. The body aches, the mind quakes with fear. Here is the fearful thought. They are running away from me. They are running away from me. I am not worthy. Here is the fearful thought. She is hurt and cannot be reclaimed. She is lost and will not be found. The pain, the pain. Here is the fearful thought. My life contains no pleasure, only minor inconvenience. Nothing is important nor comfortable. Here is the fearful thought. I am weak, like those which I try to avoid. I am what I seek. Here is the fearful thought. All is delusion, chaos, pollution. The better choice is execution. Here's the fearful thought. They don't like me. They don't want me. I'm in the kingdom of the blind. Well, and that is what I wrote like 2 years ago. It's very, very strange looking back on that. It's just so intense. It's like so much in there. But I think at the same time, that sort of experience was important or influential because it was kind of like a breaking down, like a deconstructing. I think like the key to that as a transformative experience is this stanza. Where have my programs gone? You know, those which kept me in control. You know, those which protected me from the dark below, where have they gone? So this brings up the idea that basically there's this pit of negative emotion of pain and sadness and confusion, but it's been repressed, it's been shoved down into the unconscious, this dark below. And I've been using sort of mental coping strategies to try to weasel my way around it, to push it down, avoid it, and deal with it, but not really face it. Like using all these mental strategies to push it away or avoid it or put the blame on something else. And so what happened was all these sort of mental tricks and strategies which I had to avoid this negativity in my unconscious kind of got dissolved. And of course this was very fearful and painful at the time. I'm like, oh no, I'm going insane, like, this is horrible. But at the same time, it's kind of a matter of liberation, because using these mental strategies to kind of try to avoid and weasel around this suffering, it just keeps pushing it back down to the unconscious and repressing it, making it worse and worse. And so what you end up having to do is face that head on and go into that and accept it and really look at it. Because suffering, something that I say is suffering is the flame of transformation. Suffering holds a lot of information. It holds a lot of value, and going into that consciously and purposefully and willingly, although in this case I did it not purposefully, and so that caused a lot of extra pain, but going into and finding your suffering and what that is and where that comes from, that can reveal so much about you. And at the same time, going into that fear and that suffering, the flame of transformation, the suffering, it burns away everything that is not you. It burns away everything that's false. It forces you to face the reality. And so while this poem that I read in that whole experience of kind of melting down and just being consumed by all this negative emotion was very, very, I mean, incredibly painful at the time, it was also, I think, necessary, because it made me look directly head on at what I had hidden from myself and really look at that and see what I was pushing down and hiding, and learn to stop using all these mental strategies to try to push it around and project onto somebody else and say, oh, that's not my fault, you know, all of that stuff. And to be able to drop those and just purely see yourself as you are. To purely look at yourself, good and bad, and just stand in the light of your own truth, of your own self. And so, yeah, I hope that was pretty interesting. Because normally on this channel, you know, I'm all like, ooh, spiritual, happy boy. But I thought it'd be kind of interesting and vulnerable to share that kind of suicidal poem that I wrote 2 years ago. Yeah.